Thank you, God, for bringing me to this good country.
She's 113 years old, officially recognized as Canada's oldest person, and her secret to beating any disease and living past 100 is eating eggs. This special kind of yogurt and a handful of greens, flatbread originating from Scotland, and a spoonful of this sweet dessert. And it ain't a fruit salad, y'all. She's also got these two shocking daily habits and this secret morning drink to boost your vitality. Get ready! This will shake everything you know about staying healthy. Here at Celebrity Health, we'll reveal how this 113-year-old woman from Quebec, Canada, beat all the odds of eating these powerful anti-aging foods, plus her simple daily habits that truly made a difference. Stay tuned to because the food she eats to stay youthful is just icing on the cake. Her real anti-aging power comes from this last part of her routine. So how did the oldest woman in Canada earn the title? It wasn't easy, and honestly, you can make a movie out of her inspiring story. Margarita Anna Mežgaile, or Margaret Romans, wasn't born in Canada. She was born on March 16, 1912 in Riga, a city torn between empires. At the time, the country of Latvia was part of the Russian Empire, an unstable world on the edge of World War I. Her family came from a long line of German merchants and Latvian traders, as if her story weren't interesting enough. Her godparents were respected businessmen, and her father was a popular merchant from Latvia's countryside. Another super interesting fact: did you know Margaret's family has been secretly buying and stocking up on this ancient superfood that's so tasty it kept Margaret and her family young for years? Watch out for the number 3 food on Margaret's list. She was just 2 years old when the first bombs of World War I fell in Europe. Fast forward to when she was 27. World War II commenced. Imagine the stress this woman had to endure. In 1941, as Hitler's Nazi forces controlled most areas of Europe, including Margaret's hometown, Margaret felt like it was the end of the world. So she agreed to be married off, not in joy but for safety. She got married to Heinrich Romans under occupation. There are no celebrations, only survival. Then the unthinkable happened. Bombings, raids, killings, occupation, fear. Every horrific thing a war could bring. Margaret and Heinrich decided to run off in hopes of a better life, leaving behind their country, their artworks, and everyone she knew. They crossed into Germany, and in 1947, they boarded a ship bound for Canada. She was 35. After her horrific experiences, Margaret decided to rebuild the life that was stolen from her, miles away from where she came from. But here's the question no one can quite answer. How did she keep her mind, her memory, her strength? And why, after all these years, does she look younger than her age? And now, we're going to look at how. Before we get into Margaret's 4 powerful foods to beat aging, let's look into her 2 science-approved habits that make a huge difference in slowing her aging. Can you guess what her daily habits are? 2 daily habits that kept Margaret Romans young in body, mind, and spirit, plus 1 anti-aging drink you can try now. Here's how Margaret, aka the oldest woman in Canada, goes around her day. Number 1. Travel while you still can. Margaret says one of the highlights of her entire life was her trip to Italy. As Margaret says, traveling made me feel alive again. There's something about walking somewhere new. Now that her doctors have banned her from long-distance traveling, Margaret shares her trips to the places she's been to. And 113, Margaret stayed sharp by keeping a diary journal of the places she's been to. Now Margaret just enjoys strolling through the nursing home's community garden, admiring the flowers and nature. And she also visits friends who are just a few doors away from her room. Harvard University, including the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found that frequent traveling can improve memory, reduce cognitive decline, and increase emotional resilience, especially later in life. A well-experienced trip releases dopamine and oxytocin, 2 neurotransmitters that are linked to lower inflammation and a longer lifespan. Ready for the number 2 tip? You probably won't believe how easy it is. Number 2. Share what you love. Back in the day, Margaret used to be an art teacher at the YMCA. She was so good at inspiring her students, Margaret is still being frequently visited by her former students. And even today, 90 plus years later, her room is filled with her paintings, images of women in traditional Latvian dresses, landscapes she remembered from Germany, and this one particular country she fell in love with the most, and of course, a painting commemorating her husband who passed in 2002. As Margaret says, "When I'm with my students, I forget my age. I don't think about being tired. I just think about helping someone grow." Studies from Harvard Medical School and the National Institute on Aging show that mentoring and teaching can lower stress hormones, reduce blood pressure, and sharpen your memory function. For Margaret, teaching gave her purpose. She loved teaching art. Margaret wasn't focused on staying young. She was focused on staying useful. So how does this woman at 113 have so much life and energy? And yet, she doesn't like to rely on medications or energy drinks to keep her energized. Her secret? It's this one simple smoothie recipe her nurse makes that keeps her energized daily. Number 3. The morning smoothie. Low cal? Check. High in nutrients? Check. Tasty? Across the board, check. This is the smoothie Margaret's caregivers say she drinks every morning. Here's how you can make it at home. Margaret's Morning Boost Smoothie. 1 banana, 1/4 cup cold brew coffee or green tea, 1/2 cup of unsweetened oat milk, 1 cup of ice, and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Bananas, rich in B vitamins and potassium. Oat milk is a good dairy alternative that doesn't upset your stomach. It contains beta-glucan, which has been shown to improve cholesterol and support gut microbiome health. And coffee? Who says 100-year-olds can't enjoy caffeine? Coffee beans contain thousands of powerful antioxidants. A 2022 review in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that moderate coffee intake is associated with lower risk of cardiovascular disease and cognitive decline, and that with cinnamon, just 1/8 teaspoon a day of this herb helps lower blood sugar, protect healthy cells from damage, and reduce inflammation. That's magic in a smoothie. And if this energy-boosting drink works for a 113-year-old, it can work on you. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. Here's the secret for Margaret's longevity. If you thought that was surprising, wait till you find out Margaret's 4 foods that boost her overall health, beauty, and longevity. Her food list isn't just anti-aging. It cures 99.9% of all chronic diseases, and the number 3 on our list has been passed down for almost a century. The 4 foods Margaret ate to beat 99.9% of chronic diseases. So how did Margaret Romans, at 113 years old, beat the odds and dodge almost all chronic diseases that can kill you? Mind you, she did not cut carbs, skipped sugar. In fact, one of her faves, a delicious flatbread that you can mix and match. Can you guess what it is? Comment below and see if you got it right. Now, before we get to the mystery food, let's start with the basics. Here we have number 1, leafy greens, spinach, mustard greens, and kale. And here's what surprised Margaret's caregivers. Margaret always asks to include something green in every meal. Leafy vegetables like cabbage, spinach, and arugula are rich in vitamin K. This unique vitamin is rarely found in most fruits and veggies, but is particularly abundant in leafy greens. According to Harvard Health, frequent consumption of greens is directly linked to better skin health, slower cognitive decline, and better heart health. No wonder green is the color of magic, am I right? Next up, I bet you have this in your fridge right now. Number 2, free-range chicken eggs. Margaret had an even longer relationship with her eggs than her husband. Kidding. But seriously, Margaret had eggs as part of her diet forever. But not just any other egg. Margaret is specific. Free grazing chickens, as she likes to say. They're cheap and they're super easy to store. Eggs are packed with protein, complete and essential amino acids for muscle strength, bone health, and better hormone production. That said, it's not surprising that bodybuilders love this protein-packed food. Egg yolks are also a unique source of choline, a powerful nutrient that supports memory. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition linked egg consumption to improved brain performance, especially in aging adults. So if you want to keep your wits, add more eggs. Now the next one is Margaret's secret sauce that has been passed down from her Latvian bloodline. Number 3. Bulgarian Yogurt. This is the ancient superfood Margaret's family has been keeping a secret for decades now. This fermented yogurt is 1,000 times more powerful. According to researchers at the Journal of Gerontology, fermented products, especially Bulgarian yogurt, contain more strains of live and healthy bacteria than your average yogurt. This yogurt can improve immunity, strengthen your gut health, and lower the risk of chronic inflammation. And when these three things are present, you're sure no disease is going to stand a chance against your body. Bulgarian yogurt contains more calcium and protein, two essential nutrients, important for older people who are suffering from joint pain or muscle loss. Now here's another tasty secret Margaret and other older Canadians don't tell you about. This one tastes like heaven and adds more years to your lifespan. Number 4. Binoc. Binoc is a fried bread originally from Scotland, now part of Indigenous Canadian culture, and has been Margaret's favorite ever since she moved to Canada. It's made simply: flour, water, and sometimes lard or butter, and often served with wild berry preservatives, honey or diced meat, and greens. And here's what makes this food fascinatingly healthy. Binoc is high in complex carbs, fiber, healthy fats, and protein. It's just complete in every sense. Pair this hearty meal with something sweet, and your taste buds are in for a treat. Margaret loves finishing eating a handful of warm Binoc, topped with rich, sweet Canadian classic. Can you guess what it is? If you guessed maple syrup or maple taffy, you're correct. Of course, the most ridiculous part of Margaret's diet is that she still likes to eat sweets even at her old age. Won't that make her diabetic? Not exactly. Margaret likes this old-school sweet candy made of maple syrup for a reason. It's simple sugar, yes, but it's also pure, minimally processed, and let's be real, mainstream health has been villainizing sugar for years now, when the real problem lies in overly processed foods with too many chemicals, hydrogenated fats, and synthetic sugars, an example of which would be HFC or high fructose corn syrup. Natural sugar is healthy, and you need it. So next time you think you should give up sweets, think about Margaret, a 113-year-old lady who refuses to give up on life's simple pleasures. Margaret has truly mastered the art of eating. But wait, there's more. She reveals this one surprising longevity tip that you can do right now. Margaret never goes to bed without a good laugh. Why? Simple laughter lowers stress, boosts immunity, and keeps you glowing from the inside out. A recipe for a long, healthy life. Now it's your turn. Drop an emoji for the food you're most excited to try from Margaret's routine. Up next, a bombshell in her 80s, now still stunning in her golden years. Can you guess what her skincare and beauty supplements are? They're all homemade. Don't miss out.